Hey guys, welcome to the Jason J. Daniels Show, evening edition. Thanks for watching. I'm live on the internets, man, everywhere. Based in Northern California. I'm a California guy. Thanks for watching. Um, so I just could not stay off the internets today. Shout out to George W. Bush. The internet's been really wild today. A lot going on. If you're watching me, this is my second show today. I promised I'd be on vacation. It's crazy. I want to be on vacation, but I'm too busy reading the news and wanting to react to it. Tonight is a really special show for me because I have been waiting to talk about Katie Potatoes Porter for the entire year. I was just waiting for the right time. Now, obviously, the time is right because she did an interview. I don't know if you saw it, but you'll watch it today with me. I'm going to play the interview and give you my reaction to it. It's 3 minutes. She was interviewed with other potential candidates for governor of California, and she went totally aggro, vicious on this reporter and nasty, triggered over Trump voters. The word Trump and the words Trump voters and the phrase, you will need Trump voters to win California, made her go nuts. In fact, when you watch this video, you're going to be staggered by the aggression, the aggroness, the hostility, the viciousness, just real hate in this person. Katie Potatoes Porter is a hateful master of vicious hate politics. And we'll get into that. And why do I call her Potatoes Porter? Because if you didn't know this, she has quite a history of aggressive attacks on people and verbally and just the aggressive intimidation. Also, she physically assaulted her ex-husband, according to court documents, pouring scalding hot mashed potatoes all over his head, breaking coffee pots, throwing things at him, clearly domestic violence going on. And part of her bio is she said he did it and she was the victim of it. But now the court documents that are coming out are starting to shed light on her aggroness, her viciousness. Over the last 10 years, she has a lot of hostility in her record. We'll talk about it. And she's just a real psycho. Honestly, another lunatic Democrat. Why do they always go to the Democrat Party? I don't know. It blows me away, but maybe it's just the way it is. But she is an aggressive, hostile person. She's in Congress. You'll recognize her. We'll talk about that. She has mastered the art of nasty, vicious politics. And so tonight we're gonna break down the video. I'll give you my reaction, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you want a governor who allegedly threw scalding mashed potatoes on her husband's face, his head? Is that the kind of governor you want? Yes, it was in 2012, 2013, like almost more than 10 years ago. Sure, people change, but she has a pattern of hostility since then. And in fact, she reopened this case by filing a restraining order against the same guy she attacked earlier this year. That broke news. It was everywhere, but it wasn't, well, everywhere but California media. They didn't cover it like everybody else did. Now, the LA Times did talk about it, but all the other areas in California, they really didn't hit it as hard as other states did. So we'll talk about that. Why is this important? Well, it's important because it's another vicious, nasty, aggressive Democrat in high leadership who is driving aggressive, nasty politics behind the scenes against Trump voters and conservatives, Republicans. And that's important to know. Now, clearly, if you're a Republican, there's no way in hell you'll vote for this person. Just with her reputation in Congress, the stuff she's done to Trump, she is an anti-Trumper to the max. She's done all sorts of weird political tricks to try to make things hard on Trump and all those things in Congress. And she's been disrespectful when he's done speeches and all these things, you know, reading books and being disrespectful to the Republicans in Congress and just disrespectful to the voters. She just doesn't care. And she's in California where you get reelected over and over. The nastier you are to Republicans, the nastier you are to Trump. Well, that gets you elected if you're in a heavily Democratic district where all you need is Democrats to vote for you and Republicans are not even going to even come close to voting for you. She's never needed that. But now things are changing in California, and that's what the reporter asked her. The reporter said to her, did you realize, and we'll watch it in a second, do you realize you're going to need at least 40% or something like that of Trump voters to vote for you to win? And she goes nuts, berserk. So I've been wanting to talk about her for quite some time because she is a vicious politician. She's mastered, if you know her history, she's mastered the art of vicious, hostile politics. And there's an art to it. There really is. So I'm impressed by her commitment to being a douchebag. She really is a douchebag. If you're not on board with her, she ostracizes you. There's rumors of her being hostile to her staff. There's accusations that there was harassment going on in her office. She let it go, which happens with a lot of congressional offices. There's just so many things that go down that you would just be cringed by, and so much hostility to the staff, and they get berated. Kamala Harris, she is on the record for having a tough time keeping staff because she's so mean and vicious behind the scenes, right? So Katie Porter's the same way. She's mastered that. So you have to understand that's how she thinks she's going to win, by being nasty, being aggro, threatening people behind the scenes, bullying people to support her, bullying people to give her funds. And she's going to be the only person who she's going to say has the ability to beat a Republican in California. Remember, Schwarzenegger was a Republican and Reagan. Okay, we've had Republicans win in California in modern times. Now, it's been a while, but that's before Jerry Brown and the Gavin Newsom kind of cabal came in, and they ushered in this supermajority in California that the mission was to completely bankrupt the Republicans and just run them out of California, which they've done a fantastic job at it. But things have changed. So part of that change is that Trump voters will be needed, or Republicans will be needed for her to win. It's the math is pretty clear, because if you have looked at it, there's been a mass exodus of Democrats out of the Democratic Party in California and registering Republican or going independent or going no party. And I'll say this, there's a lot of Republican options, and there's even probably going to be other Democrat options than her, but she's going to be put up there as a front runner, and they're already doing that. So there was a reporter who interviewed all the candidates, right? They're starting it off early. And, I guess you need to, because the election cycle is going to hit hard in January, right? So the holidays, this is kind of the time things start earlier than they used to in the past. So she's interviewing all of them. We'll go to it if you haven't seen the clip. There's a 3-minute clip. We'll play it, of Katie just going nuts and then wanting to shut down the interview. And that's how she does it. And you'll notice when she tries to shut down the interview, she doesn't go anywhere. The interview continues, but that hostility, the bulliness, the threatening, the I'm just going to take my toys and leave, caused the reporter to try to keep her. But wait, the reporter does. You'll see it. I would have said, just get the fuck out, man. And I would say, this is what you would do to California. Like, this is what the voters would expect. You don't get your way. If you don't get a compromise, you're going to pick up your toys and run. You're going to hit me with potatoes. See, that's why I can't interview somebody like that, because I'd be really honest and say, hey, do you got potatoes? Is there a kitchen around here? I should make sure I'm safe, because I'm going to make you mad. I'm going to definitely make you mad. And what's preposterous is, we'll see it, is she got mad when she was asked a legitimate question about voting, about votes, about needing people to actually go to the ballot and vote for her instead of the cheating and all the bullshit they do in California. That has changed. And you can see it on all of these Democrats' faces now that they're going to have to go into an election cycle in California where they won't have all the cheating and the over-the-top fake ballots and all these different rules that they used to have, where you can count them 2 weeks out till the Republican loses. We're not doing that this time, and it's going to change. They thought they would beat Trump again. It was a landslide. That didn't happen. The midterms, it's going to shock them. It's going to really shock them. And along with California, I predict that California is going to go red or get very close. Now, maybe that's not, maybe that's me hedging my bets by saying the second part of that. But there's not going to be another landslide like Newsom had over and over. Because things have changed. Things have changed, and also I think Charlie Kirk, that was the tipping point, because with Katie Porter mastering nasty, vicious politics, that was acceptable before, but we're not accepting that anymore. People, even her own party, hopefully, are standing up to that. We're not accepting that. And that's why I'm spending time in the evening to talk about this, because it is important that we all pull together in the state and stand up to these vicious bullies on either party. If there's a Republican bully, I'll call that person out too. I have questions about the Republican candidates. Now, I want a Republican to win because that's our only hope, but I have some questions. You know, nobody's perfect. Everyone should have questions. You should question your candidates in your party. And that's why people like Katie Porter are left alone and left to just gain power, because when you question them, they do what she did in this interview. Now, before we get to before we get to the interview, let me just show you the evidence here. Let me show you what I'm talking about when we're talking about Katie Potato Porters. Okay, here we go. Let's jump to the. Okay, so the documents showed that Katie Porter scalded her ex-husband's scalp with potatoes. That's right. Now it's not a laughing matter, but it's just so preposterous that somebody can have this history. Look, the history I'm going to show you, it's going to blow your mind. The reason why I'm going to read this and show you this history, we're going to do a short show tonight. So I'll get to the video in a second. Hang in there with me, because I have something. Again, I'm supposed to be on vacation. We're going to do a short show tonight, but I'll get there. But this is important to build this background. So the former husband of Katie Porter said in court documents that she frequently abused him verbally and threw toys, books, and other objects at him during their marriage. Okay, now I am going to just lay down the background so you can have this in your mind when we watch how she acted today in a normal situation that doesn't require bullying or aggression. Keep that in mind. She's being asked normal questions by a somewhat challenging interviewer. She's being challenged, but it's normal. And she didn't need to do what she does. We'll watch it, but just keep it in mind. Even, during their marriage, even pouring scalding hot mashed potatoes, let me get rid of this banner, mashed potatoes on his head during a fight. Okay. So Matthew Hoffman, who happened to be married to her. Oh, you know what, guys? I have to check my audio. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at this. Sorry about that. Again, I am my own. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna let's see here. Okay. Okay, cool. Here we go. Let's check this out. We're sounding good. Okay, great. So he filed for divorce in 2013. Now, that was a long time ago. I'm going to be fair. That was a world away. He said, but there was so he had a restraining order requested against her the same year. He said that she was routinely called a fucking idiot and fucking incompetent by his rage-prone spouse. Okay, who also shattered a glass coffee pot, bam, on their kitchen counter in 2012 when she felt the house wasn't clean enough. Get cleaning, baby. Bam. Okay, right. She would not let me have a cell phone because she said, this is not funny. It's not funny, but it's wild. She said, you're too fucking dumb to operate it. Okay, this is what he said. Now, Porter's 49. She's also been accused of ridiculing former members of her staff, talking shit about them. Okay, so there's accusations she bullies her staff. They're accusations. When she gets angry, he says, she will claw and scratch your arms and then say to me, look what you made me do. Now, that sounds very sinister. Sounds very sinister, but this is what he's saying. Hey, he was married to her, all right? And she wants us to marry her as governor. It's a conversation. You might be asking, is this relevant? Or you might be mocking me saying, Jason, you're making a thing of nothing. That was a long time ago. Okay, well, look, I think if she had changed her behavior, that's one thing. But she's been doing this kind of aggro, vicious stuff, bullying stuff, intimidation stuff for years. He says she claws my arms. Daily Mail report on this. The records obtained first. So apparently these records were somehow kept hidden. So they just came to light. She regularly says that I am a bad parent in front of the kids. Recently, the children began spitting at me and throwing their food. Wow, that's terrible. Bad daddy. That's bad stuff. Okay, there's there is a very unflattering picture of her. Not the best picture, but hey, she's it is what it is. Okay, so there's your Democrat candidate for governor. Everybody, how you feeling? Okay, so Hoffman goes on to say Porter took issue with how Hoffman was making the. I'm sorry. It's not funny. I know it's not funny. I know because deep down, okay, deep down, this is domestic violence. It's not funny. It's not funny, but it's just the visual is just making me think Sopranos or something, right? Like they're at the dinner, everything's cool, and then somebody flips out and pours hot potatoes or hot spaghetti or pasta on someone. I'm not saying that ever happened in The Sopranos. Makes me feel it. There was a really crazy, interesting thing that happened at dinner. Usually, bad things happen at dinner in Sopranos. Okay, so she just looks like she might. I don't know, just be like I can see her staffing. So so she says, oh man, I'm trying to keep this the way this is written. So allegedly he was making mashed potatoes for dinner. It's like making mashed, she's like, she walks in, she's like, can't you read the fucking instructions? So she goes right to 0 to 100. Then her ex-husband said, Porter raised a ceramic bowl of steaming hot potatoes and dumped it on my head, burning my scalp. Now, I don't know if there's a medical record, but this is alleged, but it sounds on brand, honestly. In response to the allegations, Porter at the time was a professor of bankruptcy law. And then she claimed in her own request for a restraining order that he ordered her out of the house, called her a dumb B word, and a despicable person and effing evil. Okay. Before adding that she should rot in hell. These okay, clearly they weren't a good match, so the divorce was probably really good for everybody. But yeah, so it just seems a little on brand. I gotta say because she's just a douchebag. She really is. Now, according to Porter, Huffman then raged at the couple's son, telling the child, "Okay, I'm not going to get into the kid stuff. That's not important to me. In fact, that makes me sad. So when kids are involved, that's not. I'd rather not get into that. But you guys can read it." So she was on the Late Show with Colbert. When was this? This was April. So in April last year, she did a Late Show hit and somehow was selling a book. Who would buy that book? I don't know. But Colbert he brings on all, and clearly they're trying to prep her for governor. He brings on all the heavy hitters. So she's, one of them. So in her first campaign for Congress, the writers note that she called herself a victim of domestic violence, and her biography says she was a single mom of 3 kids. Okay. I don't have a shady background, she told the HuffPost in 1218. I'm the most boring person in America, of course, obviously a lie, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I ended a marriage that was troubled. Okay. So she's in her 3rd term, and she was reelected. This is an older article. There's another psycho picture of her and all that. And then her book was called I Swear Politics is Messier Than My Minivan. I don't know why anybody would want to read a book by her. She just seems just odd. She seems weird and old timey and here's what I was talking about earlier. During votes for the next House Speaker way back then, it was a year or 2 ago, she was reading a book. I don't give a fuck, just being a douchebag, dressed in orange, matching the book to stand out. She's she knows political theater really well. And I'm going to show you one last thing here. She was dressed up as Batgirl on the day that the House tried to impeach Trump she does a lot of theater and stuff to get attention. And then in December, a Navy veteran who worked for her accused her of dismissing a sexual harassment allegation made by another staffer and also cracking off colored jokes about race. Okay, so it's interesting. If this was a Republican, the 2 things here, this right here, that would be the headline. That would be the headline. Instead, there's but this is an interesting headline. Clearly, the scalding potatoes. So if that's not good enough for you, let's go to Politico. Here's another one really quick. I think it's important to see. So She alleges. So this one is in this one was last year, a year ago, almost. Wow, almost a year ago. Okay. Uh, yeah, almost exactly a year ago. She alleges persistent abuse and gets restraining order against ex boyfriend. Now, this is another man in her life, an ex boyfriend, and another restraining order. Okay. So most people don't have this many restraining orders in their life, but we're looking at somebody in Congress who now has two, three battles, counting her ex husband and now this guy. Julian Will's alleged threats to leak false information to the press poses a serious risk to my career and personal reputation. So Politico's protecting her. They're putting her words out there as though they're true, saying that he's a crazy. He's nuts. They're discrediting him. Maybe he is. But then if he is that crazy, then you have to look at her judgment. She gets involved with people that when it goes bad, it goes really bad and it becomes very toxic. And the question to you should be, if you elect someone like this for governor, what if their other relationship falls apart and it's very toxic and then it becomes a distraction to the people of California? In my opinion, look, we all have things. We're all human. Look, I've had relationship drama. We all do. You probably have it. If you haven't, you're lucky. So I'm not going to blame her for being human. But if you have that much drama and baggage, you're not going to be able to focus on the voters. You're not going to be able to get the job done. And as you know, California is a 24/7 job. When you watch the Schwarzenegger Netflix documentary, it's brilliant. It's unbelievable. And it talks about a lot about him being governor. It's such a you learn so much. And Schwarzenegger himself said he had no clue what this job was like. He said it's 24/7. If it's not a crime, it's a fire, it's a disaster, it's a this, it's an earthquake. Schwarzenegger was completely worn out by that job and it destroyed his marriage. It's a tough job. Now, maybe if you get somebody like this who's used to destroyed relationships, she's got the backbone. I don't know. She's strong enough to handle it. I don't know. I mean, I think she's a strong woman. I'll give her that. But anyway, it's a question. If you have somebody to vote for without drama, that has a stable personal life, and then you got somebody who has a record of instability in her personal life, it's a conversation. And it's not about gender. It's not about anything about that. It's about history. You have to look at the history of a candidate. So Porter says Willis said the filing he filed against her was an effort to preempt his own claims against her. So here we go. Katie Porter obtained a temporary restraining order against an ex-boyfriend, telling the court his persistent abuse and harassment, including sending her and her family and staff more than 1,000 text messages. That is crazy. And emails over 3 months caused significant fear to her personal safety. So now she's saying she's the one who needs protection. In the petition for a domestic violence restraining order that was filed last year, she alleged Julian Willis. Now this is okay, several years. This guy was with her for a while. He sent a litany of abusive messages to the extent of causing personal or significant harm to a public image. Interesting. She has a public image that doesn't already have significant harm. I'm confused here. I don't know what else you could say about her in the papers or publicly that would shock me. But if I guess if you're inclined to not vote for her, if there's more that comes out, I don't know. That surprises me. So on Tuesday, the judge approved the order, blah, blah, blah. That was last year to protect her family. Politico looked at the documents, no contact order. The judge denied her request for restraining orders for adults that she doesn't live with, including her mother. Okay, so she was trying to get a restraining order for her mom. And then there's some other stuff concerning. He said he was going to call CPS on her to remove her children from her custody. What aren't they, like teenagers or something? Trying to extort her for thousands of dollars. Defamatory. Saying that she has herpes. But hey, we're in the clear because she sent the test results to the court to prove she's cool, no herpes. Oh man, come on, man. This is like reality. She's a walking reality show, man. Look, I don't know. I just the herpes thing that catches you by surprise. I mean, look, I'm glad she submitted records that show she's in the clear. So we know she doesn't have herpes. Oh man, not that it's funny, but it's just crazy. In her declaration, she said Willis is got substance abuse problems, and he's crazy. Of course, mental health issues, and he's been psychiatrically hospitalized. Okay, so lot of drama. Sorry, that was my water bottle. A lot of drama. Willis, then she goes on to ruin his reputation in this article, saying everything about him. Sober living, Narcotics Anonymous. So Narcotics Anonymous. So we're talking hard drugs here. Okay. So she was her live-in person is a hard drug user. Okay. No judgment, just the facts. She personally witnessed him. Oh, here we go. She personally witnessed him continuing to use drugs. Okay, so she was in the presence of him using hard drugs. Is there anything else I need to say about how crazy and chaotic this person's life has been? This was in 23. Keep this in mind. We're not talking 2012 anymore. So she says, okay, now here we go. Now I was assuming hard. Oh, here we go. Here it is. She says he misused painkillers, snorting Ritalin. Okay. Now that's some crazy shit. Snorting Ritalin, abusing cannabis. Okay. And nicotine patches, she wrote. He has also previously disclosed to me his use of cocaine and whippets. Okay. I guess those are like the poppers. Not that I know anything about that. So she's lying. She was there. She maybe used it with him. Look, I'm just speculating, but look, when you're around drug users on a regular basis, it's just inconsistent to say that everyone's not partying. So there's that. So Willis did get a chance to talk to Politico after this entire article destroys his reputation. He finally gets a chance to say his piece. He says, Porter sought the restraining order to preempt him from suing her and seeking protection for himself, okay, and to prevent him from going to the media. And then there's more and more drama, blah, blah, blah. Okay, obviously we can go. One last thing here. He provided copies of communication with California Irvine Police Department, claiming she was aggressive and violent towards him and the children in mid-August. He asked police to supervise his move out. Okay, that's dramatic. Porter, through a spokesperson, of course, who is that, right? Said she was out of state on the day he moved out and got no indication the police had been present. Politico has independently requested copies of the reports, and I'm sure that those reports will never see the light of day. And he says she's a monster. She's a monster. Okay, so she is okay. So Katie. Okay, so there you go. I think that's good enough. Let's go to now. You get the picture. Okay, so again, this is we're going to flip to this tab. Okay, so obviously that's alleged stuff, but we got the police documents involved. She's filing restraining orders with STD results in it to prove she doesn't have herpes, and her boyfriend is a drug addict and used everything. Like, that's a lot of drugs. Honestly, that's very expensive. And that's a lot of drugs to get your hands on. Hard drug user. And then it went bad, toxic. And she's been accused of off-color racist jokes, being okay with sexual harassment, throwing scalding hot mashed potatoes on her ex-husband, breaking glass around him, and just being a total maniac in relationships. Now, let me be clear about something, and I'm going to be fair to Katie Potatoes Porter. Some people are just really bad at relationships, but the rest of their life is cool. It's possible. I know people who are really bad at relationships. In fact, all the relationships end so dramatically, and sometimes court papers, okay? But they're a cool person. They're very good at their job, and they get shit done, and they're a lot of fun to be around, but they're just not somebody you ever want to date. Now, but the difference is they're not all running for governor, which is one of the most powerful positions. It used to be just in California, the most powerful, but now we're talking nationwide implications. California, Florida, Texas, certain states like that. Jersey, New York, those governors have unlimited power. They have a lot of power. Okay, so let's get into the interview. Okay, so here it is. Julie Watts TV was asking, now this is Julie Watts, just so you know, X tells us, a national award-winning investigative journalist and California Capitol accountability correspondent. She's CBS. She knows her stuff. Okay, Julie knows what she's doing. I should follow Julie. Hats off to you, Julie. Shout out. She knows what she's doing. Okay, so we're not dealing with. I need to set the table here. Now you've listened to me talk about. You've read with me, and you can read. Look, you put Katie Porter potatoes in Google, you're gonna be laughing all night. It's just funny shit. There's some funny stuff in there. It's just crazy. So that's been established. Okay, so we've read that. Now we have to establish the reporter that's talking to her is not just some hack, some internet person who's just taking shots at her. This is an award-winning journalist asking very cogent, relevant questions. Nothing wrong with the questions that she asks potatoes. Nothing wrong with it. So here we go. Let's just get this popping.
Percent of California voters who you'll need in order to win.
So she says,
say to the 40%, say to the 40%.
Yeah, let's go with it. Okay. So she says she's about to say you need 40% of the Trump voters to win. Now, the interview is on YouTube, and this is the portion on YouTube. So I'm going to play you the entire portion. It's 3 minutes. There's also, if you go to YouTube, there's other, she interviewed all the candidates that are, I guess, potentially running. This was Katie's. Now, I want to say this. I will say this about the setup to Katie's PR people. I would never have my candidate do this setup. First of all, it creates a so I'm going to give Katie some credit here because she's in a situation that's claustrophobic. She has hot lights on her face. She's like knee to knee with the reporter. She's jammed in this room that's got it's like dark. It's like, I would say we're not doing this. I would say if I was Katie's person, I'd say, let's go outside, man. Let's go outside where it's peaceful and we have some space. I'd never let my candidate do this. So this shows me what? One, she doesn't have a smart person she doesn't have a campaign apparatus. She's working on it. She's probably having a hard time to get somebody she can afford. It's very expensive to run for governor. Okay. You're set. And the reason why these folks that run these campaigns are so expensive is if you win, you're set for life. Like, it's huge, right? You're a millionaire, you're famous. It's a huge job to get. But I would never. So she clearly, to me, she's desperately trying to get publicity. And I think she doesn't understand that we don't like the aggro shit. And she flies into I'm an aggressive boss lady, but she takes it way too far. And you can be the judge. Here you go. I'm going to let you watch some of it, and I'll give you my commentary as we go through.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Ooh. Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you?
Okay, I have to stop this. You know how preposterous that is, right? Go ahead. Go, Katie. Make it worse.
Versus another Democrat.
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
That's a really great follow-up question, okay? Because what she just said was, no one can stop me. I'm the front runner. That's very egotistical. And you would never say that unless you knew that was a thing, right? So this is a good follow-up question. Now look at the look on this. Look, potatoes did not like that. Watch.
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support
She got caught.
already in terms of name recognition.
Name recognition, really?
Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you.
Whenever a politician says, let me be clear with you, they're about to dress you down. Watch, look at potatoes. She can't stop.
I represented Orange County.
Look at that.
I represented a purple area. Mm-hmm. I have stood on my own 2
No, she hasn't.
feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in
No, she hasn't.
this race can say.
She's a liar.
If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just
Interesting that she threw in Oakland. What? That's interesting. She's starting to look at her hands. She's starting to get off script. She's pressing. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
Okay. What?
So you don't
I
think
feel
you
like
need
this
them
is
to win.
unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
Woo! See, look at that. Look at potatoes. She's about to grab. Like, is there scalding hot? Is there a stove next by? She's getting the hands going. She's handsy. That is very aggressive to do to somebody when you're knee to knee. But again, to give potatoes, I'll give her some credit here. This is not how you want to be interviewed when it's something this serious. It's a bad place to be interviewed, but it's still no excuse for this.
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This
I think she's talking about 50.
is not
Correct. And I said I
Oh, she
support
is.
it.
Like, okay, so they're talking about redistricting. You can see the thing at the graphic at the bottom.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written.
Do you understand? Do you need them to? She doesn't understand. I need to win votes. I don't understand that because they're so used to rigging the game. It's all a numbers game. They rig this shit behind the scenes. They're used to rigging elections. Can we just be honest with everything that's been going on with the DOJ, everything with the FBI? We know what they've been doing. Biden's 20 million voters you couldn't find in 2024 that somehow he magically had in 2020. We know millions of illegal aliens have flooded our country, and a lot of them have been voting. And there's even a story that came out, I think it was yesterday, somebody's dog voted twice. Like, it's preposterous to say that they don't think that they have it rigged in California. So for her to have to get votes from people that don't really believe in her policies, oh, that's preposterous. Why would I do that?
And I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every
She totally said that. But no, I didn't say that, even though you just said it, potatoes.
vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
So she tried to shut down the interview the first time, but this reporter is brilliant. She kept her going. Now, right here, Potatoes knows she got fooled. Look at the look on her face. Now, watch what happens. She right now is realizing, I'm at word salad. This is not going well. I'm going to go viral because I look stupid and ham-fisted. Now, she does what she always does when she's cornered, gets fucking nasty.
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not...
This is what they do. They take their toys and pretend to leave. You notice how what was that? Now watch what happens.
going to do the interview with us.
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Okay, first of all, that is just fucked up. Okay? This reporter did not ask 7 follow-up questions. She was asking questions to clarify the word salad, but they don't want to hear it. You see, they don't like to answer questions. They want to be given a platform where they can spew hatred, vitriol, lies, misinformation, hostile intimidation, attack their opponents. They want an unfettered flow of bullshit to run out of their big giant mouths. And then when someone asks them a question about the junk that's coming out of her head, she gets mad and wants to get hostile and shut the interview down.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
Of course she doesn't, because she's Katie Potato Porters. She will do whatever it takes to win. She'll bully you.
I don't care.
That's a bullier.
I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now she says, I want to be pleasant after she's being nasty. Gaslighting. I don't know. Maybe Willis's restraining order had something to it.
And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Wait. On every question, you ask me a follow-up question. That's the job of a reporter. These people are so insane. They will drive you crazy. And this is why most of the reporters, in my opinion, just let them talk. they're not even really trying to help the candidate out. They just can't deal with the bullying. And this is what happens after these interviews. Katie will blow her up on a text, call her boss, and then she'll have her surrogates attack people and just go nuts on them, saying, "Look, you're trying to ruin us. You're trying to help Trump." Like that's what they do.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
Yeah, she's never had anybody ask her, "Why are you so nuts?"
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So
Oh my God, this is brilliant! Look at that, potatoes, baby. Let me help you. You're not doing yourself any favors, man. This campaign is over. Okay, that's one of the other headlines. There's nobody. I'll tell you one demographic's not voting for her. I'll tell you one. Men, no. Sorry, strong men not voting for that. Look, I don't want to be that guy, but there's nobody. No, I'm just saying you have to win both sides. I don't know a man that would vote for somebody that does this to another person in an interview and acts all high and mighty. It's not. I'm just being honest. You can get mad at me.
I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters?
Nice. Look at that. She's good. Katie didn't shake her. Potatoes couldn't shake her. And she just nailed her. She waited. She let Potatoes just talk. And then boom, I love her. She nailed her. And look at that. You could tell that did it. She just throws her hands down. Can you imagine? This hasn't even been the 3 minutes. This is 2 minutes. 2 minutes of this person. Can you imagine trying to have a rational conversation with her?
Okay, why don't we go?
Now look at this. Just shuts down. This is a child. These are grown adults with stunted IQs, acting like babies, intimidating. This is the Democrat Party. These are leaders in California, man. It's crazy. Now they're mad at the media because the media actually has people that are fresh and new and young who actually have an opinion about how they should ask their own questions. They actually are professionals. Katie wants to run the interview. She wants to run everything. She obviously wants to run relationships into the ground, and she wants to run your life into the ground if you elect her as the governor.
Through. I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist.
Now, she's getting out of pocket because she's got to set Potatoes straight. This is a really good journalist. But I would say you never want to be in this situation where you have to correct the person you're interviewing because they will turn it around on you.
But I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer.
Now, her body language is like, shut up. I'm pissed at you. I'm in control.
So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you.
Jesus Christ.
And I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can...
Look at her hands. Katie does a thing where she puts her hands right out. It's an intimidating move. And let's be real. She's a big, tall lady. She's tough. She's imposing. She's got an imposing aura. It's not unfair to say that. She's imposing her will right here. But the journalist is not allowing this to stop her.
Show our viewers what every candidate feels.
Look at Katie just be a spoiled brat. Just so mad. She knows exactly what she's doing. Because if she wanted to end this interview, she'd be gone. But she knows it's going to go viral. So she's going to try to get everybody to cheerlead her. See, the people that vote for her love this shit. They love the lunatic stuff. They love the I'm a mean boss lady. They love the intimidation because they think that's what you have to do to win. They're all about that. That's why these guys do it. If people wouldn't vote for these shenanigans, they wouldn't do it. That's what politicians do, what the people want when they vote for them. And if people vote for them, it reinforces the shenanigans.
Feels about every one of these issues that they care about.
Look at that.
And redistricting, it's a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
Okay, there it is. That's the end of it. I'm going to wrap up. I could go through that a few more times and I could break down all the body language and show you how insane this is, but I think we've proven our point. So, potatoes is going to continue to be a focus of my podcast. I've been really wanted to talk about her because there is no place for her in the leadership of California again anymore. Like she's got to go, and she has to. It's going to take voters standing up to her, and that's important. That is really important that the message is sent. And I do think that we have really good, smart, Republican, independent minded people that are running against her. But you get what you get with her. You get a toxic swamp creature who is a spoiled, rotten brat who can't even answer a question in really a friendly environment. That wasn't a nasty environment. That was a solid question. That if Katie had taken the first question that set her off was Trump voters, you're going to have to win these people. What do you think? Like, what's your plan? That's a great question. It's a real question. And what she's doing is she's showing disrespect to Trump voters, MAGA, anybody like that, because she doesn't care about anybody but the machine that will get her the votes. She believes the Democratic machine has already anointed her. She even acted like it in the interview. She's the front runner. She made a mistake and said, well, I have name recognition. I'm not going to need to win them over. And the journalist is like, what do you mean? There's a primary chick. And she's like, we'll just, because she's been christened because there's nobody else. There's nobody else that's willing to lose. And she's a big loser. She's going to lose. There's no way she's going to win California. It's over. She thinks she's going to walk in and win. She's got another thing coming. We have a whole year, more than a year. Well, about a year. Yeah, we have about a year and a month to send a message. Yeah, about a year to send a message by doing our best to get the word out. And I guess, just continue to support whoever is not her. That I hate being like that. I do think the Republicans have some good options. We'll talk about them when we get there. We're going to start getting into it, but there's plenty to talk about with Gavin and Porter. And it's really important to understand if you're considering voting for Porter, then that means you're all in on the aggro, aggressive, nasty, threatening, violent rhetoric. You're all for it because she's big on that shit. Okay. She's mastered it. And I'm not saying it's a liability. In California, to be a bully, to be manipulative and nasty in politics is a virtue for them. And that's how they've won. Look at Gavin Newsom. He is the head snake of this hydra of nastiness and viciousness and mockery and just attacking the federal government, acting like he's his own country, like he's a king. He acts like a dictator. He tells people to do things and he never, ever does what he tells people to do. He lives a sheltered life. He's never worked a day in his life. He's never worked a real job, and he's a spoiled brat. He is the head of this hydra. Now, she, on the other hand, who wants to replace him, she did, she has humble beginnings. She's lived pretty much a life like most of us before getting into politics and then going to those echelons. She's, obviously held jobs. And so there's something to be said about that with Katie Porter. She's different from Newsom in that way. I think she could probably feel your pain, right? More than he could. He has no concept of what it's like to be poor, what it's like to need food, to put it on the table. Gavin Newsom has no experience with having to make a budget for a family. He has not had to wake up and look at his family every day and go, if I don't work today, they don't eat. He's never experienced that. So when you put somebody like that in power, this is what you get. You get a guy that just makes sure his buddies get richer because that's the lifestyle he's been in. It's all about making everybody rich and handshakes and backroom deals and slaps on the back and expensive vacations and Monaco and yachts and all these things. He is part of that swamp network. Her, on the other hand, hey, She has bootstrapped it. I'll give potatoes that. So she's a little more accessible than Gavin would ever be, but she's poisoned by the rhetoric. She is a swamp creature. Make no mistake. She's very dangerous to Californians. Your gas prices will go up. Your food prices will stay the same. The regulation, she will give in to every special interest, and she will make sure that you pay a price for being conservative. Gavin, on the other hand, he hates conservatives, but it's convenient for him to hate them. She literally hates them. She's acted on it. She has been aggressive about it. And she clearly hates this reporter that she talked to today. So anyway, thanks for checking me out tonight, man. I gotta go. I'm over schedule. So love you guys. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Quick again, just to wrap it up. Do you want a governor who allegedly threw scalding mashed potatoes on her husband? Do you want a governor who has ex-boyfriend who is a raging drug addict and they're in some sort of battle in court over court orders and the reputation? Do you want somebody that has toxic relationships that clearly are going to spill over to the governorship? Or do you want another slacker Democrat expecting to walk into high office using vicious intimidation? That's what I got out of that interview. Another not hardworking Democrat, a slacker who thinks I should just be given it. When you watch this interview, go back in the stream. When you watch the interview she did today, you'll see how vicious and nasty she got when she was posed the question about working for votes. That's what set her off. You have to work for votes. She's told. She goes bananas, berserk, nasty, vicious, hands up. I'm ending this interview. All the gaslighting and intimidation you would not want a governor to traffic in. She traffics in. She's a slacker Democrat. Do you want that? I don't want that. So thanks for watching. Again, potatoes. Katie Potatoes Porter gets vicious on a reporter needing Trump votes. So that was the theme today. Thanks for watching. My name is Jason J. Daniel. If you're checking this stream out late, it's the Jason J. Daniel Show. Late night edition. So late night edition. Thanks for watching. And if you are inclined, please follow me on Facebook. I have a Facebook group for the show. 1,800. I'm embellishing. 1,800 followers, which is cool. Obviously, we're on Rumble, streaming live on Rumble. Please subscribe on Rumble if you're watching. It would really do me a massive favor. You're going to get more like this. We're going to talk more and more politics. I love politics, as you know, but I also do true crime and sports when I can get to it. Please subscribe on YouTube and on TikTok, Real Jason J. Daniel. I do sports. I'm a big sports guy, nuts. So, in fact, I started social media with sports. So, check that out if you're inclined. Thank you for your support. And again, subscribing and following, follow on X, subscribe on Rumble or YouTube. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And it's so helpful. And it keeps me doing content. It helps push the effort further to bring truth to California. And I'm trying to be balanced. Now, I'm very conservative now after Charlie Kirk, and I've always been very conservative, but I just switched to the Republican Party, and that's my party, man. I'm in, because the alternative is, as you can see, and as we've seen since even before Charlie died, the alternative is evil. There's a lot of evil people in office, and we have to call them out, and we have to use the democratic process to get them out of those high offices and usher in people that really will work for us. That's populism. And we are nonviolent. We are using the power of truth and love as conservatives to bring to bring some sanity to what's been going on in our politics. And that's what I stand for. So thanks for watching, guys. God bless you. And go with God. Go with God. Again, I'll be on the vacay for a couple of days. I promise. I hope. I hope I'll be taking some time off. God bless you guys. Love you. Thanks for watching the show. Take care.